Welcome to the 52 Love Podcast, your show for 52 lessons in 52 weeks. Before we dive in, remember you can find the audio version of this episode, along with the rest of the series, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Radio Public. And now, here's your host, Ms. Tonya Todd.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the 52 Love Podcast. 52 Love began as a blog series last year, 52 Love Lessons in 52 Weeks. The 52 Love Podcast explores one of those tips each week with a new guest. This week's tip is to read to your partner, and to help us explore that tip is Tom Everatt. You want to tell us what you do?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on the show, Tonya. And so I'm an actor from England, live in London, if you can guess from the accent, I suppose. So I'm, there's not really one thing that I particularly act in or favour. It's been a bit hard to carry on doing any sort of acting over the past year, but I am predominantly really sort of focused on Shakespeare at the moment, which is going very well. So last year was postponed, but this year we are going touring Henry V around the UK, parts of Europe as well.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, especially seeing as we missed out on last year. So Henry V has always been my sort of dream part, the one that I've always really wanted to do. So I was promised the role back in 2019, and then it's been a good 2-year wait until I'll actually get to do it. So
but that sounds like one that's worth it.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, he gets to do quite a lot. Got some good speeches. So
I am actually working on a project where I'm comparing Batman to Henry V.
Yeah?
Yeah. I may pick your brain for it.
How does okay. I'm curious. How without giving too much away, how does
I don't want to give too much away, but if you look at Bruce Wayne as Prince Hal, and then the transformation into Henry V.
Yeah, the sort of playboy millionaire,
right?
Billionaire. He goes on to do other things. Yeah, he does have a transformation. I mean, he's still compared to and quoted and looked at as the model king. Obviously, Shakespeare's Henry V, not the real man, is completely
right.
Different. And probably not, was quite formidable and could have been quite terrifying, I imagine, to do what he did so well and to win wars and battles. But at the same time, he won battles against the odds with 10% of the forces of the other side, and he still won. So
he's considered a hero for a reason.
Yeah, a true hero. So he's still in British politics. I think he's still mentioned and referred to and sort of looked at as the model king. So,
do you have a favorite rendition?
The first time I came across it was Kenneth Branagh.
Okay.
And Kenneth Branagh doing sort of most Shakespeare tends to be.
Yeah, he tends to be the standard.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite hard to get away from him. But then if you get a chance to see any of Jamie Parker at the Globe, his is very, very good. It's I guess because it's at the Globe, so it's this sort of live theatre version, but in a sort of very classical way.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a bit more real, I guess, than Kenneth Branagh's. Kenneth Branagh made it very nice and filmic, but it's also, I think 1993 or 1990 compared to, it's of its time. It's much more heraldic and it's got the music in the background, and he does that all very well. But it's a bit different now. So Jamie Parker's from the Globe is very good.
Do you have a preference between film acting and theater acting, stage acting?
I would say I do prefer stage. It's more free, I think. Allows me to do more. You can move more. You can be a bit more spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes every night. I think if you're doing it right, then you're free and able to change things every day, which is quite nice, especially doing, say, a long 4-month tour.
Right.
Then you don't want to do the same thing every day, because somebody might be more, whatever has happened to another actor's day, they might deliver a line differently, and if you're listening, then you can respond.
And then there's
different
the energy in the audience too, that it all forms and shapes what your performance will be that night. And sometimes the audience is feeling a particular emotion more strongly than they did the previous night, and you're like, oh, well, today we're all about the love, and tonight it's the revenge aspect,
yeah, exactly. Sometimes you have audiences that are cackling through the whole thing, thinking everything's hilarious, and you think that's not the funny bit, but okay,
right.
Good. Yeah, okay.
That's not the funny bit.
You've all turned up, you're all drunk, and you've turned up for a comedy. Brilliant. Okay,
you're like, all right, we'll go with it.
Okay, we'll try and make this funny then.
So far, what's the favorite role that you've played?
Well, my favorite thing I've done would probably be, it was a play called Tuesdays and Sundays. So it's nothing to do with Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Canadian play set on Prince Edward Island, PEI.
Okay.
And it's all about, it's a true story about this couple from, they were met in 1889. And they met on 3 times in real life, but 4 times in the play. And they go through almost like a Romeo and Juliet saga of meeting on a New Year's Eve, meeting up again a couple of days later. He was 19, she was 16. And she gets pregnant on, a few days after New Year's Eve, and then they don't see each other for 6 months. And he has a bit of a panic when they meet up again, and he sees that she's pregnant. And in the real one, he kills her, and there's no real, it's quite bad. He tries to cover it up, but it's quite bad. But in the play, it's not as, hopefully we made it feel like he felt like he had no other option. Obviously he did, but he feels like he has no other idea of what else he could do. It was really, really poetic, and it was sort of every line, they finished each other's lines, and everything sort of was sewn in together. It was really, really, it was like an hour piece of poetry almost.
And that's why it's your favorite?
Yeah, I think so. I got to work with, it was Canadian director and other actress. There's only 2 of us, and we sort of played a few other parts in it. I was supposed to be Canadian, but we just sort of skipped around the Canadian accent bit. I'm sure I could do one, but I felt put on the spot a lot of the time, and I was thinking,
I can't imagine anyone ever wanting to hear you in anything other than your real accent.
Well, I don't know. I suppose I'm used to it by now. So
Which is why I thought that this would be the perfect tip for you, because it is reading to your partner. So how did that go? I'm sure she's used to your accent, and she hears the same sort of accent all the time. It's not not the fetish that it would be here in America, but you're still a spectacular reader, and you are an actor. So I want to know, how did that go, and what did you choose to read?
It went very well.
Look at that smile. It went very well.
No, it's a bit of an odd thing that happened. So this last week, I've had really bad toothache, which I'm actually on antibiotics for. Because I must have had some sort of infection in my mouth. So just before reading, I'd had like an ice pack on my face for about an hour, on all sorts of painkillers as well, just to be able to do it, because we kept going, oh yeah, we'll do that today. Oh no, we'll do it. On the weekend, we'll do it. And we kept putting off doing the actual reading until this week. And then just obviously this week, I had my first ever toothache, to the point that I could barely talk. So
you powered through the pain. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, yeah. She really, really did enjoy it, though. It was, at first, I was a bit worried that she'd fallen asleep, but she wasn't. She was closed her eyes. She was taking everything in. I'll probably say what I read. I'll hold it up as well. Is Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology.
Oh, I read that last year.
Really, it's fantastic. So sort of, I know one of the quotes on the front says it quite well, but he assumes the role of fireside bard. It sort of tells the stories of the Norse gods,
right,
in a very campside kind of sitting around the fire telling stories way, which is a wonderful art to be able to tell stories. Is what must be one of, if not the oldest thing that humans do. It must be. It goes back
to the cavemen, right?
Yeah, dawn of being human. One of the things that makes us human is to tell stories and to share in that art. And so to do that was really nice. It wasn't obviously anything that was. Yeah, I think that was what I was aiming for. Something that would be quite storytelling and see how it felt. So she said it, almost reminded her of being a child, almost having someone like read to you. I think that's the way, part of how Neil Gaiman writes it as well, is sort of to gather everyone in. And
right.
But do you know what? She sent me some notes. I'm gonna look at them because I don't want to miss anything out, because they were quite nice.
Yes.
If I can find them, but there we go. But yeah, she said she felt at peace, which is nice. And
it is okay if someone falls asleep during this, because that means that they are lulled into submission, basically, and just at complete peace and trust with the person,
Yeah, I thought she had fallen asleep because her eyes were closed. But so I first thought, I've bored you. But then I thought, no, it's quite nice if she had, but she wasn't. She was just letting it wash over her. She was very, very happy with it. Happy, a little turned on, she said. But part of that is I guess we've been together for 6 months and we've been basically in lockdown for all that time, so she's not really seen what I do at all. So for her to see that was and get closer to that and what makes me happy as well, to share that with her and share it with each other, was something special. One note she did say was weirdly maternal. Now I don't know if she meant she felt maternal.
That is
so
interesting.
She'll leave that one up to us. Yeah,
she felt like a child. She felt oddly maternal, and she also felt a little bit turned on. So we'll let Freud handle that one.
Yeah.
But it all sounds like good things. I mean, it feels like it really did bring you closer.
A nice connection, something not just watching TV together, but actually feeling connected. And I mean, even when I started, I felt a bit nervous to start with, because it shouldn't be, but it is a bit of an odd thing to do, to sit down and read your partner a story.
It makes you a little bit vulnerable, but that's ultimately what brings you closer together, is you're sharing that vulnerability and you're getting through it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it was a nice act as well, a nice thing to do. And we were both, got into bed to do it. And so
that's the best place to just snuggle together and read,
Yeah, exactly. If I wasn't in so much pain, it could have, would have been very lovely. But yeah.
Rain check, right? You can do it again.
Yeah, exactly. There's more stories in here, so it's good.
And maybe she can try reading to you too.
Yeah. I'll propose that one to her. I'll see if she does. I don't know if she will, but we'll ask.
Can't hurt to try, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing your vulnerability with us, because it is, you're exposing yourself to possible ridicule when you do this with your partner. But the thing is, if this is your partner, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And ultimately, it's just going to bring both of you closer. Not just you closer to them, but them closer to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, a solid connection. Something we would like to do again, I think.
It's the ultimate quality time.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially I suppose over the last year there is, so I would never watch this much TV in my normal life. I've spent like a year watching TV, which might be odd for an actor to say, but I do get very bored watching TV.
I understand because, you could be making television or you can be watching television.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'd rather be making it.
Yeah. Or experiencing things that then help inform your life into what's going to happen next and what other things you can create. And by having experiences, you can make more memories that will shape your character than to go on and have a more, the more involved and exciting life I think you have, the better it is as a performer. It gives you more experience to draw on. So to do something that isn't watching TV, it feels like it's a shame we've found it only just now. So we're going to start coming out of lockdown soon, so maybe we can come back to it and to do something a bit
should have
different.
been reading the blog last year.
Yeah. I'll start. How many weeks have I got to go?
So tell everyone what they can do to follow you and support you in your career.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm actually doing some filming tomorrow, which will be good because that will then be available to watch, hopefully, on YouTube.
Yeah.
A couple of sort of, I guess, one-man shows, long monologues, quite similar to Talking Heads, I suppose. If anyone knows Alan Bennett. Talking Heads, similar to that. It's the company is called Golden Age Theatre Company, which you can find on YouTube. So we'll have 2 monologues on there. A strange romance about a man who meets a person in a cafe and at first can't work out their gender, but then ends up going on a date with said person. And then the question is, once they fall in love, does it matter if they can't work out their gender because they're in love?
That.
And the second one, which, I'm actually filming tomorrow, but we'll be ready in time, is called Callback. And it's about a man who has a smartphone repair shop and has a new phone brought in, which is going wrong. And it turns out this phone can actually send messages back in time. And
as an actor, that's not where my head went.
Yeah, it's completely different.
But yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, send messages back in time. And what does he do with it? But, at first he has all these plans, but then he realizes that it doesn't quite work the way that he thinks it's going to work.
And this is told through monologues?
Yeah. That's
interesting.
Yeah. So, that was quite fun. That is a lot more fun. It's not silly, but it's a bit more lighthearted. Nothing goes the way he hopes it's going to go, basically.
Well, that's good storytelling. You don't want it to go the way everyone expects.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, for this upcoming tour, Henry V, the company again for that is called Festival Players Theatre Company. They are actually the longest running outdoor Shakespeare group in the UK. I think this will be their 34th year.
Wow.
I'm a bit off on the dates.
But yeah, older than you?
That is older than me. Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah, that's older than me. So So we're now patroned by Dame Judi Dench. She came to watch our show.
Love her.
A couple of years ago. So as you go on, you'll see a picture of us with her, and there is, there's a chance to, because obviously last year we didn't make any money.
Right.
They don't have any Arts Council funding, which is how a lot of the arts works here. So we don't receive that. It's all from ticket sales. So there is, if no one can come to watch the show, should be a full list of tour dates on there. Maybe not published just yet, but they'll be on there soon. And if not, I think there's even a donation page. Which would be
yeah, well, if you want to send that to me, I will add it to the show notes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And definitely send your monologues once they're ready for public viewing, and we will add those as well.
Yeah, I will. One is, the other one, I'll film tomorrow. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, well, then you need to send that one immediately because I want to see that.
Yeah. That's a strange romance. Yeah, it's interesting. It is good.
It sounds right up my alley because I have this theory that everyone is bi to some degree. You fall in love with the person, not with the gender. And some people are more open to it than others. But ultimately, if you fall in love with someone, why should it matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we, hopefully the message we get to.
Without I look forward to it. Away. Yeah, I look forward to watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I do have this, if you want to hear what I read.
Yes, I would love to.
It's the end of the story. It's the story in it called The Treasures of the Gods. It is the end of it, but I think hopefully it might tease people into wanting to know more about it. Because if anyone doesn't know much about the Norse gods, obviously I'm sure most people have watched Thor, the Thor films from Avengers. They're in it. A lot of it is actually quite true to the mythology, but not all of it. But it's
Team Loki over here.
Yeah. Well, Loki's the main character in this one, so hopefully, hold on, I'm gonna get ready. Brock whispered a suggestion to Odin. That would be fair, agreed Odin. Brock produced a strip of leather and a knife. He wrapped the leather around Loki's mouth. Brock tried to pierce the leather with the tip of the knife blade. It's not working, said Brock. My knife isn't cutting you. I might have wisely arranged for protection from knife blades, said Loki modestly. Just in case the whole "you can't cut my neck" ploy did not work, I'm afraid no knife blade can cut me. Brock grunted and produced an awl, a pointed spike used in leatherwork, and he jabbed it through the leather, punching holes through Loki's lips. Then he took a strong thread and he sewed Loki's lips together with it. Brock walked away, leaving Loki with his mouth sewn up tight, unable to complain. For Loki, the pain of being unable to talk hurt even more than the pain of having his lips stitched into the leather. So now you know. That is how the gods got their greatest treasures. It was Loki's fault. Even Thor's hammer was Loki's fault. That was the thing about Loki. You resented him, even when you were at your most grateful. And you were grateful to him, even when you hated him the most.
Lovely.
There we are.
That was a great choice.
So hopefully now people want to know how he got his hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that titillate you?
We hope so.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that was an awesome choice. I remember going through that one, just, they're cutting my Loki, but he kind of had it coming.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. It is a really, really good book. And the Norse gods are wonderful because they are so faulted in so many ways.
Right. Yeah. It's not exactly like Thor is a stellar, upstanding guy.
Oh, no. He is, he's full of rage. But he has his purposes.
The comics treat him more favorably than he deserves, and they pinpoint Loki as the villain. It's like, Thor's a schmuck, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a hammer and that's all he knows. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. I'm really excited to have you on here. And we should probably mention we did a project together last year from lockdown.
Of course, yes.
I'm hoping will come out soon, but it's in the final stages of editing. And I have to tell you that your scenes were absolutely amazing.
Oh, really?
To see my words come to life through you. It's like, he required no direction and he understood it perfectly. You just delivered it so well.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun to do. It was very strange having sort of, I guess, given the lines there and hoping it's all going to get I'm sure it's going to get cut together wonderfully, but it was
right.
it was quite an experience to film. It was, but
it is a
I'm
little
really
strange to
looking forward
record with no director, no crew. You're just on your own, and you're like, I hope I'm doing this right, because I can act, but I don't have cinematographer skills,
Yeah, no,
like, is the lighting right? I'm not good with makeup. It's like, well, I'll just do the best I can. I'm supposed to be someone at home, and if my makeup looks like I don't have a person, that's because that's true, and it's good for that character.
Yeah. We hope they like what I look like, but I have no idea.
No, you look
want someone
great.
to come in and just touch you up here and there, and like, oh, are you shiny, or like
all the
okay,
little touches, all the little nervous movements. It's like, wow, he just nailed all of it. And your set looked great. It's like, I cannot wait to write something bigger and cast you in it, because you seem like you would just be amazing to work with. If you could do this on your own, imagine what we could do together, right?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I would. Oh, yeah, please do. I absolutely would be there.
Is your reel available online for people to see?
It is, I think, on acting websites in the UK,
like Spotlight.
The sort of like Spotlight and Mandy, which I think is an American company, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that in the US as well?
It is.
Yeah, it is on there. I do need to update it. I do have some more footage to add to it, and I've just been a bit lazy with lockdown, thinking like, well, I'm in no rush.
Send me your IMDb page too, so that we can share that with people on the show notes.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Got a completely different film on there, a nice independent British film called British Made. It's a bit like American History X, so if that's interesting to people.
That's not how it sounds.
Yeah, made is in like made in Britain, not
okay.
not made in Manhattan, but like,
yeah, I didn't see. I couldn't see the spelling.
No Jennifer Lopez in this one. It's
no,
it's a bit more American History X than that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you everyone for watching, and just remember to treat love as a verb.